He rode out of Louisiana territory, and with his gun slung low and his microphone held high, he brought truth to a savage land. And the legend grew. Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, we are back with you. Tom Gresham here. If you'd like to be a part of this, call me at 866-TALK-GUN or Tom Talk Gun. We're open lines for talking about politics, the guns you like, going hunting, how do you store your guns? Pretty much anything that has to do with guns. Yeah, I'll tell you a bit later. I bought another gun. That's okay. I sold one, so that's a net no change, right? If I sold one, actually it's kind of a trade. But one's gone, one's coming in. That's the way we do it sometimes. It is that time of year. If you are if you're still covered up in snow, maybe not yet. But for an awful lot of people in a lot of parts of the country, they're hearing that weird sound. Yep, it's turkey time. It is turkey time. And I always tell people, look, if you really don't want to be addicted to anything, never, ever take up turkey hunting, because it's addictive. Joining me right now to talk about that and how to do it and best practices, Thomas Allen joins us from Outdoor Pursuits. Thomas, how are you, sir? See if we can round him up. Hey, Thomas, you there? Okay, I guess he must have put his phone down there. I tell you what, we'll see if we can come back to him. I'm also looking at this. We'll come back to that in a minute. This story: settlement allows concealed carry gun storage in vehicles on Ohio State campus. This is fascinating. A settlement agreement and related litigation between Ohio State University and gun rights advocates has resulted in a change in the university's policies to allow students with concealed carry permits to store firearms in their vehicles on campus. This is a lawsuit that was filed more than 2 years ago by a couple of gun rights groups. It's fascinating because it wasn't a court order. Basically, it's a settlement. And Ohio State University has agreed to let people with carry permits basically store their guns safely in their cars. I told you there are a lot of interesting things going on. We have some good decisions coming down. We face a lot of challenges right now, but don't despair. A lot of things are going our way. Looks like we've got Thomas lined up again. Thomas Allen from Outdoor Pursuits. Are you there, sir?
I am. Thanks for having me on, Tom.
Absolutely. I was talking about the fact that this is turkey season in an awful lot of the country, and it is that addiction. I'm struck with how much, for a simple pursuit, hunting is a kind of a simple thing. In the last 30 years, a couple of things have happened. One is that, of course, now we have turkeys everywhere, whereas we didn't before. But the other is that turkey hunting has changed. It used to be you have your pocket call or your diaphragm mouth call. You put on some camo, you go out in the woods and you hunt. There seems to be an awful lot more paraphernalia and technique and everything else about that these days. What do you think?
I think that's an absolute fact. And I think for a lot of hunters out there, that's actually part of the fun is collecting calls. And I've got a whole cardboard box full of them and a whole nother plastic bin stored in the closet that my wife doesn't know about. And it'd get me in a lot of trouble if she did. But it has changed a lot. But the good news is you can do it however you want. If you like to put a call in your pocket and walk through the woods with your shotgun on your shoulder, you can do that. If you want to haul 17 decoys, a blind, and a heater, and all of the accessories you got to have, you can sure do it that way too. So I think that's the beauty of it.
We have turkeys in, is it 49 states?
I believe so, yeah. Everything but Alaska, and there are some Canadian provinces now that have huntable populations as well.
It's amazing. Talk to me about decoys, because 30 years ago, more than 30 years ago, when I started hunting turkeys, nobody used decoys. How do we use them, and how much does it help, or does it?
Well, I can't really think of many situations where I wouldn't want to have a decoy, and a lot of what I use and the time of year will be a deciding factor. But what I've learned over the years is they have changed, just like, as you talked a little bit ago, the technology and what you take with you. They've gotten far more advanced than ever before. I think any bird that's in the right mind is going to strut around a black plastic bag. or at his reflection in the side of a vehicle. But I think what's really important is if you're hunting in a scenario where maybe you're on open ground or if you're anywhere that a turkey is going to have to cross a field or a pasture or something, he needs a visual confirmation that he is actually coming towards the calling bird. And anytime you can confirm that for him, it's critical. But what I will say, and this is something I firmly believe in, my wife questioned my sanity when I wanted to spend $350 on a set of 3 turkey decoys. There was a day you could go to Walmart and just buy the little foam roll-up type, that'll fit in your pocket. But why keep it cheap? So I did buy some of those, and I'll tell you right now, they're made by Dave Smith, and they're the most realistic decoys you can buy aside from a mounted bird. And there is a definite and absolute change in demeanor in birds when they approach these decoys. They just know they're real. And when you can have that kind of confidence or create that level of confidence in an approaching bird, that's just going to be another beak you get to put in the dirt.
One thing that we probably ought to point out is, look, if you're going to have a turkey decoy with you, there are safety considerations about walking through the woods with that, aren't there?
Absolutely. And most of the carrying cases that these decoys come in, they either have an orange flap, a blaze flap that you can put on the outside of the bag or stuff it in, or some of the bags are solid and camo in colors, so the decoy is completely hidden. But, yeah, you definitely want to be aware of that. You want to be aware of who else is hunting your property, and I would be a little bit less inclined to take a bunch of highly realistic decoys to public land. And you got to make that call for yourself, but there's certainly, you want to keep that in mind and be safe. Always be safe. Don't shoot at stuff that moves. Make sure you know what you're shooting at.
Yeah, identify it completely. One more thing I want to ask you about here. Ammo. How much has ammo changed for turkey hunting?
Well, it's interesting. I just wrote an article here a few months ago about this new heavy-duty tungsten turkey round that you can buy. And you can buy 5 rounds for, I think it's $40. It's very expensive.
Holy cow.
But it's very impressive what it can do. It'll hold a pattern. In fact, you have some of the rounds I tested will pattern 20 BBs in the head at 50 yards. And that's still with probably a beach ball size pattern. And that's pretty tight for a distance like that. But, the thing of it is you can still go, you can use a heavy shot that's built for geese. You can use a standard number 3 lead or number 5 lead in a 3-inch round, and that works just as well, too. I have a buddy that has never bought turkey shot in his life, has only used number 6 pheasant rounds. It's impressive what's happened, but you got to think about it.
The other factor here is if you're going to use one of these super tight turkey chokes, and some of the chokes are unbelievable, and then you're going to use some of these loads that pattern that tightly, you absolutely need some kind of sighting device as opposed to just looking down the round top of a shotgun barrel.
I would agree with that. I've tried hunting with a red dot scope, and I didn't like it very well. I miss birds all the time anyways because that's just my MO, but I missed a couple birds with it, pulled it off, and last year 2 of the turkeys I shot were at 45 to 50 yards. So, there's definitely some truth to that, but, if you pattern your gun and you understand where it shoots, it can be done.
Okay, all right. And when you're shooting closer, when you're using a rig like that, you're shooting 15 yards, 20 yards, your patterns may be the size of a dinner plate or even smaller, so you really have to be careful.
I feel like the optimal range, something that I would just rather the birds be at about 20 yards, 25 yards. If they're in at that 15 or even 10 yards, your pattern's the size of a softball. It's easier to miss at that range than I think it is further out. But I say that, and just yesterday I'm actually driving home to Alabama from Florida for a Florida Eastern turkey hunt. I wasn't after the Osceolas, but just yesterday morning I missed the only opportunity that I had at a bird, and I shot at 35 yards and blew it. So I don't think I can blame anybody but myself.
Yeah, it happens. Anybody that hasn't been turkey hunting, they go, well, how do you miss one just walking around out there? Oh, trust me, it's easy. It happens all the time.
You haven't hunted long enough if you've not missed turkeys. That's what I have to say.
All right. Well, if you were going to tell somebody who is thinking about taking up turkey hunting, what was the 1 or 2 things they really need to know? What would it be?
Well, I'll tell you, one of the things I've thought about and have experienced in the last couple of years, my kids have been turkey hunting with me, and they're now 9 and 11, and both of them have shot 4 birds each. And they have hunted with the 20 gauge exclusively. It just made sense. But with this new heavy duty tungsten that you can buy and the advancements in choke tubes, I don't think you need to buy a pump action 3.5-inch 12 gauge. I mean, you're a gun guy, go big or go home. It's fun. The only reason that we shoot 3.5 is because they don't make a 4-inch Brown. I get all that.
No, I am with you completely. I have no use for the 3.5-inch 12 gauge.
No, it's a terrible round. But
it is.
You can hunt with a 20 gauge anywhere in the country. It's a light gun. It's easy to carry. It's comfortable to shoot. And it's a killer out to 50 yards with the right choke and round combination. It's a great gun. I would start with that and then buy some calls, learn how to use them without aggravating your spouse. If you can do it in your car on the way to work and back, that's probably the best place to learn.
That's where you do it. You practice your calling in the car, always.
That's right. That's right. And don't give up. It's a very frustrating sport, and I've been very fortunate to hunt all over the country. I've killed birds in 12 states. I was going to kill one in 13 states as of yesterday, but that didn't work out. But the next day, things could be completely different. And just stay flexible. Know they're just animals. They're dumb birds, and somehow they outsmart us every year. But it's a fun pursuit. It's worth doing, and it's especially worth getting the kids involved. I can't overemphasize that. I love hunting with my kids.
Hey, Thomas, tell people how they can follow what you're doing.
Well, I have a YouTube channel. It's called Outdoor Pursuits, and I'm a little biased. I think it's one of the best hunting channels on the website. But you can find that at YouTube/Outdoor Pursuits Pro. That's where I keep a lot of my videos. And honestly, Tom, I do it more for fun. I don't have any sponsors. I don't have any obligations. I just love to film, and I've filmed 50 or 60 turkey hunts over the years, and probably as many. And
I'm just going to jump in because you're not going to say what I am. If you want to learn how to turkey hunt, watch good videos like you produce. You can learn a ton of stuff by just watching those videos.
That's right, and there's a lot of things you can pick up. And to be honest with you, I think one of the most valuable things anybody can do is to learn turkey behavior, body language, and demeanor. And that's going to, just by watching the birds on all those videos, and even if they're not mine, watch them because you'll be able to see an awful lot just by watching them on a screen.
Absolutely. Thomas, thank you so much. I appreciate your time.
Hey, it's my pleasure, Tom. Anytime.
All right, you take care. 866-TALK-GUN. Do you have the fever? Do you have that turkey hunting fever? How'd you get it? Because we know there's no way to get rid of it. 866-TALK-GUN.
Whether you carry it on your hip or in your hands, when it's from Springfield Armory, your gun is a part of the legendary line, the great 1911 pistols, the innovative XD, XDM, and XDS pistols for competition and defense, the new 911 carry pistol, guns you can count on. Shooters everywhere rave about the Saint pistols and rifles, and of course, the mighty M1A battle rifle. Check out the latest at springfield-armory.com.
Hi, this is Tom Gresham from Gun Talk. America is losing critical wildlife habitat at a rate of 1 football field every hour. It's happening on the Louisiana coast, but it's critical to all sportsmen and conservationists. These precious wetlands provide winter habitat for more than 10 million ducks and geese annually, waterfowl that migrate north through dozens of states. Don't shrug it off. Get involved. You can help. Visit vanishingparadise.org.
Tired of searching the web for the best deals on guns, ammunition, and gear? Download the free Gun Dealio app today for deals and discounts right at your fingertips. Handguns, rifles, shotguns, ammo, optics, lasers, gun safes, targets, gun cleaners, grips, slings, and much, much more. Save money on products you want from the companies you love. New deals, discounts, and rebates added daily. Gun Dealio, available for free in the App Store and Google Play.
All the refinements in Smith & Wesson's M&P M2.0 pistol series shrunk to a perfect carry size in the new compact version. 4-inch barrel, light crisp M2.0 trigger, aggressively textured grip for enhanced control, 4 interchangeable palm swell inserts, 2 magazines, lifetime service policy, 15-round 9mm mag, 13-round 40 mag. The M&P M2.0 compact pistol. More at smith-wesson.com.
I don't know if you caught that listing we gave out a little while ago on this new giveaway. It's stunning. We've got a huge giveaway. If you go to guntalk.com/win, you will be able to see the whole rundown. Let's see. I'm just looking at, trying to get some of this stuff. ATN's X-Sight, Auto Ordnance 1911, a Crossbreed Holsters Carry Pack, a whole bunch of stuff. FN, their FN 509 Tactical Pistol. Yes, one person's going to win all these guns. Gun Storage Solutions Ultimate Gun Safe Organizer Pack. Lone Wolf Distributors Custom Glock 22. Let's see, got Proper Clothing and Range Pack, Remington Hardwood Home Defense Prize Pack, an 870 DM shotgun, a TAC 14 shotgun, case of Ultimate Defense, and case of Managed Recoil Buck. It goes on. Stag Arms, Stag 15 Tactical Rifle, even more stuff. Ruger Mark IV pistol, crazy stuff. One person's going to get all this stuff. Guntalk.com/win to enter for a chance. It's nutso. Let's see, got this from... somebody says, a suggestion for Tom's lever action. Everybody's trying to help me out here. I got two of these. This is crazy. Let's see. Hey, Tom, I know you're looking for a lever gun. How about one with a silencer? Sounds good. Well, Marlin makes one. They're 1894 CST that comes threaded from the factory and has suppressor height sights. Here's the thing. Why would that be good? Well, unlike a semi-auto, when the action opens and the sound comes out with the gases when the action's open, with a lever action, it's a fixed breech, like a bolt action or single shot. And so all the gas has to go out the muzzle, which means it's going through the suppressor, which means it is going to be quieter. I think that's a cool idea. It would just offend my sensibilities to have a suppressor on a lever action. Yes, I know it's cool, and I would do it just for the cool factor, but for lever actions, I look at them and I think John Wayne. It's the movies I grew up with, and I get it that that's not for everybody, but there it is. Another suggestion, the guy writes in and says, hey, Tom, heard you were looking to buy a lever gun in .45 Colt. I recently bought a Uberti 1873 imported by Cimarron Arms. Their 1873 Deluxe Brush Popper. So just want to let you know it is now my favorite rifle in my gun safe, and it's worth a look. I bought it through Gunbroker and paid $1,000, so it was worth the money. I've never shot so well with open sights in my life, and my 58-year-old eyes are not what they used to be. The only drawback is the fact that you are limited to lower pressure ammo due to the gun design. But apparently any SAMI spec ammo will be okay, just no heavy stuff, which is an interesting comment. We'll be talking about that as we go along in terms of SAMI spec. Tell you what, we got James back on the line. We had a bad phone connection earlier on line 2. James, welcome back, sir. Tell me about this range report. That's okay. You took some kids out shooting.
Yeah, sure did. Had the Boy Scout troop out there camping one weekend, or last weekend, and we head on down to the range because we had some free time. So had them on the 22 Marlin shooting some paper targets, which they'd done a million times at Boy Scout camp, so it wasn't anything new to them. But so they, got bored with that quickly. So I walked them down to the 50-yard range and introduced them to steel targets. And they loved it. The competition in them started coming out, and the instant report from, the ding, when you hit it or you miss it. Oh, boy, you should have heard them hooping and hollering back there, challenging each other. Said, oh, that's a miss, that's a miss. And, of course, I couldn't let
it is like an
without having a little fun. So I pulled a Ruger 9mm American that I had in my truck and pulled that out, and we fired off a few from the 7-yard line downrange to give a little friendly competition amongst ourselves, amongst adult leaders.
It's funny you mentioned the Ruger American pistol. I mentioned that earlier as one of the guns I think doesn't get the attention that it should. I think that is a really fine pistol, and for me, I can really tell the difference. I think it feels like it has less recoil because of that camming action. What do you think?
I agree 100%. Especially, when compared to, the Glock, for instance. So I definitely like it. Or my older Rugers, I could definitely tell that there's less recoil felt there and a lot smoother trigger. The trigger action on that is just like butter. So I wouldn't compare it to a Walther. It's probably stretching a little bit, but it's definitely getting up there.
You're probably a 2x price difference as well, right?
Absolutely. So I'll take that Ruger American all day long, twice on Sunday.
So how did you get started taking scouts out?
I am a scout leader. My son joined when he was a Cub Scout, and he's now an Eagle Scout. Just got promoted to Eagle Scout last November,
congrats.
And so I've just been an adult leader with him since then. And, of course, I was a Cub Scout and a Boy Scout when I was growing up, so it's just something you do. And shooting's always been, part of what we do. Growing up in Nebraska, Saturday morning, heading out to the fields to go do some pheasant and quail hunting or rabbit hunting in the wintertime, and that's just what you do on Saturday. You go shooting. And so this past, last Saturday, I said, well, come on, boys, let's go shooting.
Are you in Nebraska now?
No, we're in Indiana now, so another corn state.
Another corn state. I was just going to check to make sure you guys are okay with all that flooding.
Yeah, no, there's a lot going on out there. All the family out there that I have is in the Lincoln and Omaha area, so everybody there is pretty safe, but they're really kind of getting in some of those areas.
No kidding. Well, James, thank you for the range report, and thank you for a couple of things. One, taking those scouts out, but two, congratulations on your son getting his Eagle Scout, because that is an award for the entire family, because it takes a whole family to make that happen.
Absolutely does.
It really does. Thank you, sir. I appreciate it. Carry on. All righty. So, taking kids out shooting. What a fun thing to do. 22s. By the way, have you checked prices of 22 recently? It's dirt cheap. Do you remember when you couldn't get any, or they were selling them 10 rounds at a time? Are you buying ammo now? I've been checking prices. 9mm ammo is crazy cheap. 22 is crazy cheap. What are you doing for your ammo buying plan these days? 866-TALK-GUN.
Honey, does this holster make me look fat?
The right answers to the tough questions on Tom Gresham's Gun Talk.
All right, welcome back. I'm Tom Gresham. Glad that you could be with us. By all means, you need to check out our website. It's guntalk.com. There you'll be able to see a lot of the things we do. Our television shows, video production. We have, I don't actually know how many, thousands of videos on YouTube. Also, you can see all of our videos and television shows as well on Roku, Amazon Fire, Apple TV, pretty much all of the video distribution systems. And should you happen to miss an episode of Gun Talk Radio, you can always pick it up on YouTube, believe it or not, or Roku or some of these other places, because we put them up as videos and you can run them and listen to them wherever you are. Of course, you can check all that out through the Gun Dealio podcast platform. Gun Dealio is also a way you save tons of money on guns and ammo and things, but I think of it as a cool podcast platform because you can hear Gun Talk through it. All right, you know the name Weatherby. Weatherby Rifles, Weatherby Guns, been around forever. Great company, great American company. Now, third generation company. We're joined right now by Adam Weatherby from the famous Weatherby Firearms Company. Hey, Adam, how you doing, man?
Hey, good, Tom. How you doing?
Excellent. And, I was looking, it's more than 25 years ago that I published and co-authored that book, Weatherby, the Man, the Gun, the Legend, a story of your grandfather and the development of through that fascinating golden age of firearms when it was as much marketing as it was guns. It was a crazy time, but it's really fun to read those old stories.
It is, and it's an honor to be able to carry it on and be a part of the third generation here, 74 years into things. So it's
isn't that something?
It is, and time goes by, and it's I think in today's day and age, it's still it's not common to have generation after generation kind of family-owned business, especially in the firearms world. So it's truly an honor to be able to carry on the legacy, and it's great to be on the show today.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Now, obviously, you can't rest on your laurels. I mean, Weatherby is a famous company with famous cartridges and rifles and all the rest of it, but you keep moving ahead. I mean, two things come to mind. One is you just completed your move, did you not?
We did. We're just putting a bow on it now. We're been moving here. I think I was on your show talking about the move last year at some point.
Right.
And then we are here. I am in beautiful Sheridan, Wyoming as we speak, where our new factory is now officially up and going, and we are shipping and receiving and starting to manufacture here in Sheridan. And our offices kind of finalize here in the next couple weeks in the building. So we are just crossing the finish line, and we have a grand opening in June, and we'll have a visitor center. If anybody's driving by Sheridan, Wyoming, welcome to and pop in and pay us a visit. So we're officially up and going.
That's cool. Yeah, and you're looking out at the Bighorn Mountains there. I mean, that is a beautiful area. I've hunted deer in that area. It's phenomenal.
It is, man. I mean, whitetail and muleys, antelope, elk, you name Western big game, and I mean, it's here in our backyard. So, but I'm not supposed to tell anybody because all the locals think I'm going to attract too many people. So, I'm supposed to talk about how bad the winters are. The winters are awful. Don't come.
That's right. You would hate it here. By all means, do not come. Right.
That's right. That's right.
Especially all of your friends in California.
That's right. I'm not supposed to bring them, I'm told.
All right, but part of the whole moving forward thing is gun companies cannot rest on their laurels because it's new. Nobody ever walked in and said what's old. They always say what's new. And you have one of the coolest new things going in the form of a new, believe it or not, for a lot of people who don't know, shotgun. Because Weatherby's been making shotguns for a long time, but this one's different, isn't it?
Yeah, no, we have. We've been making shotguns for probably 50 years, and off and on, and even my grandfather was importing them from different countries and doing different things. But yeah, we just announced here this last Monday the brand new Italian-made Weatherby 18i, which is a inertia-driven semi-auto shotgun. We got 3.5-inch chamber, 3-inch chamber. You know, we got wood and synthetic and camo and a little bit of everything. So it's brand new for us this past week.
And I know there are some ears that perked up when you said inertia action. And for those who are kind of in the know on guns, yes, there's been a famous inertia action shotgun. The patent ran out on that. And I am delighted to see what you guys are doing. I'm on your website right now. If folks want to follow along, weatherby.com. This is called the 18i. Is that right?
That's correct. And we kind of, it's 18 for 2018, and then inertia, it was developed kind of in 18 and officially here launched in 19. But, it's called the 18i, and we have a deluxe version that's more the nice piece of wood, nickel receiver with some, Italian engraving on there and that. And then, of course, like I said, it's actually our first 3.5-inch shotgun. We kind of haven't gone into that world, so this kind of is that. And we are shipping them. We kind of waited to launch it to the public till they're actually available. So they are actually in consumers' hands here these last few days.
Oh, okay. So you got a synthetic version. You got a camo synthetic version. You got the deluxe version, which is gorgeous. I would almost think of that as like maybe even a sporting clays kind of a gun, or when you just want to have a gun that you just love the looks of. But this is cool. And for those who don't know, I'm just going to add my 2 cents to this thing, Adam. We've done a lot of testing of shotguns through the years, and the inertia system is the cleanest running, and they just run forever. You just don't seem to be able to get them to fail.
Right, and that's what, if you start a gas gun, gas semi-auto, and you switch to inertia, which I have here in the past few years, it's once you go inertia, it's kind of hard to go back. I mean, it's just the way it feels and functions, and it's true as far as the cleanliness of it and all those things. It's a joy to shoot.
It is, and I'm looking. Looks like MSRP on these about $1,100 for the synthetic, another $100 for the camo, and then about $1,895 roughly for the deluxe. Right.
Exactly. So I think for what you're getting, it's an incredible value for what's on the market. Obviously, the Italians know how to make shotguns, and so having our factory over there is great. And we went out this last Monday actually here and did some pheasant and bird hunting and did some quote, field testing with it, and they're running
work,
and fun to carry around. Yeah, it's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
That's it. Well, this is great. I'm excited for you. The move is great. I'm glad to get my friends out of California. I love Californians, but it's a weird place for a gun company these days. So congrats on that move, too.
Well, thanks, Tom. Yeah, no, it feels freeing to be out. I mean, it's a big restart for us and a lot of new team members and, a lot of new ahead. But I think the 18i is just the first of many things here in these next few years you're going to see from Weatherby. So it's not just about the move and what it represents and, the better taxes and operating,
sure.
Operating expenses and all those things that come with it. But also what it does is it really enables and positions us to be able to grow, to launch new product. And that's why even right after, the first month we moved here, we launched that shotgun, and there's going to be some other things to come here still in 2019 from Weatherby. So we're not done.
Sounds good. Well, look, keep us posted, will you?
I sure will, Tom.
All right, thank you. Adam Weatherby from Weatherby. Check it out, weatherby.com. Good-looking shotgun. Appreciate that. All right, 866-TALK-GUN. When we come back, it's your time. Your range reports, talk about the guns you like, maybe even the guns you hate. I haven't had very many of those. I've had some I couldn't shoot for beans, but I'm not really sure it was the gun's fault.
Are you looking for a place to shoot? The National Shooting Sports Foundation has a great website called wheretoshoot.org. It's the largest database of shooting ranges on the internet. It's also a great resource for shooters where you can find video tips, printable targets, and a lot more. Find it online at wheretoshoot.org. And while you're there, download their free iPhone app. That's wheretoshoot.org.
This land, once wild and free, fades now from our memory. But I remember what it was like, what we were like, what we are capable of when we band together. Perhaps more than any other landscape, wetlands embody the life-giving abundance that nature has to offer. And perhaps more than any other organization, Ducks Unlimited is working to ensure that our continent's wetlands not only survive, but thrive for generations well beyond this one. These natural wonders are where waterfowl begin their cycle of life, where the deer and the antelope play, and where we, the people, gather together to see and share what makes the outdoors so great. The time is now to band together with organizations like Ducks Unlimited. The time is now to rescue our wetlands.
The next big thing for the AR-15 has arrived. The Brownells Brn 180 Upper, a modernized version of the Armalite AR-180, featuring a 16-inch barrel, a 223 wild chamber, and a full-length pick rail. The Brn 180 skips the buffer system to allow complete function of the firearm with the stock folded or extended. Best of all, the Brownells Brn 180 mounts to any mil-spec AR lower. Visit Brownells.com today.
Another interesting story here. Let's see. Smith & Wesson is closing a Massachusetts warehouse, and they are moving it to Missouri. American Outdoor Brands, the parent company of Smith & Wesson, announced they're closing their New England warehouse operation. The publicly traded company, I'm reading the story, will be moving their distribution center to a new facility in Columbia, Missouri later this year. Interesting. Also, Taurus Firearms is going to be moving from Miami, where their U.S. operations are, to Bainbridge, Georgia. Now, there's a culture shock for you. Bainbridge, Georgia is about 12,000 people in the middle of nowhere. It is rural. It is country. Miami is none of those. They'll still have the Brazilian operation there, but they're going to be making guns in Georgia, and they have been hiring people, and they are delighted. I mean, delighted at the people that they are picking up there. You know, people who have strong work ethic, people who have a culture, a background with guns, growing up rural America. So this is going to be very interesting to see how this might change things at Taurus. Don't know. But I know if it were me, I'd rather be anywhere in Georgia than I would be in Miami. But that's just me. Hey, line one. Mike's with us out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. Got a range report for us. Hey, Mike, what you got?
Hey, I was shooting my Colt Delta Elite 10mm today at the Sherburne Range here in central Louisiana. And, you know, I'd never owned a 10mm before, but boy, that is a fantastic gun.
Well, why did you get it if you had never owned one?
You know, I actually had an opportunity to trade for it, and I'd never owned a 10mm, and I thought, well, you know, it's a 1911, so I'll trade for it, and then a few months later I'll trade it for something else. And I'd never owned a 10mm before. I'd probably owned, I don't want to say I'd owned every caliber, but probably every major pistol caliber. And
right.
It is just a joy to shoot, and boy, is it accurate.
Yeah, of course, the Delta Elite is like the high end of Colt 1911s. It's very nice, very stout. Let me ask you, what ammo, because, you know, there's a huge variation in 10mm ammo from really almost Magnum performance down to barely 40 S&W.
You know, this was just cheap foreign ammo that trying to remember the name of it, but it was something I picked up at the gun show in Baton Rouge a couple of weeks ago. So I would say this is not high-end competition stuff. But what's really surprised me is the consistency. Even, you know, I normally bring my Ed Brown 1911 and 45 with me to the range. And, I mean, it was holding its own against the Ed Brown and 45 with, you know, decent Winchester ammunition. I don't know why people don't talk about 10mm more.
There is a cult following for the 10. It's always there. It's never huge, but people who discover it talk about it a lot because they fall in love with it. All right, here's a weird question for you. Was it throwing the brass a long way?
You know, the brass ejection was really sporadic. Sometimes it would go in front of me. Sometimes it would go right behind me. Sometimes it would go off to the side. I don't know if I have a bad extractor spring, or if that's just the nature of it. But it was kind of going all over the place.
Yeah, interesting. You know, what you need to do is now shop a little bit for ammo. Go ahead and get you some pretty high-powered stuff. Try that. Then you'll kind of know, you know, what you can do with it. Generally, you're going to want to practice and just recreational shoot with the light stuff. But I will tell you, anybody from Buffalo Bore to, you know, a lot of different manufacturers out there have 10mm ammo that is right in there pushing 41 Magnum levels. And when it goes off, it's a whole different deal. All of a sudden you're going, oh, well, that's a Magnum. And that makes it fun. You probably wouldn't want a steady diet of it, but it sure shows off the versatility of that caliber.
Yeah, it actually really reminded me of shooting .357. It's got that kind of snappiness to it that I just don't feel in the 45 or in 38. But you know, I'm hooked on it. I mean, this gun's a keeper, and I think I'm going to have it for a while. So, you know, like I say, I got to get out and get some better ammo for it. But it's you know, it's passed the sniff test at the range initially, anyways.
Yeah, I can tell you're hooked. You can't get loose of it. Once the 10mm bug gets you, you're done. Hey, welcome to the party, Mike. I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing that range report. That's a good one. Colt Delta Elite 10mm. Yeah, I don't know many people who have shot 10s, bought 10s, who ended up saying, no, I don't want that. Almost everybody holds on to their 10. Typically, they end up getting a second one. I don't know what that is. 10mm, there you go. Why do we have that? Because it's one more than the 9. 866 Talk Gun. I'm Tom Gresham. I was at the range yesterday. Got to shoot, let's see, a Sterling semi-auto submachine gun from World War II. That was cool. Shot an M4 full auto version of the M16, kind of. That was cool. One of the things I was doing there was trying out a new 1911 9mm I just picked up. And I'm glad I went and shot it before I took it to the gun class. It was shooting at 15 yards, about 4 to 6 inches left. Consistent, good groups. You know, it's not a case of pulling it down and left, milking the trigger, any of that stuff. Just the sights are off, and which is not a big deal. You know, it's easy to, you basically loosen the set screw, drift it over, and get it set up. But it's just a reminder, and trying to remember if I've ever had one off that much. I don't think so. Stuff happens. It's just manufacturers, okay? They're making stuff. They're cranking it out the door. It's a good idea, particularly if you have a carry gun, to take it out and shoot it. And one of the things I was trying to do is get 200 rounds to it before I go to my gun sight class I'm going to take in a week. And just wanted to, and it ran flawlessly. Absolutely no problems. Pussycat to shoot, 9mm 1911. But sights are off. So that's why one of the reasons you go check it out. Don't carry a gun for self-protection that you haven't shot and really don't know. And I wouldn't trust my life with it, okay? People say, well, it's not that far off. Yeah, well, if I needed to make a headshot, if it was that critical, I would want it to be shooting where it's supposed to be shooting. So that's why we adjust sights. Simple as that. Mac's with us out of Waco, Texas on line 5. Mac, what did you read about in American Rifleman?
This Heiser, is that pronounced correctly? The PKO 45?
Yeah, I think they pronounce it Heiser, Heizer, Heiser Defense.
Yeah. Have you seen anything on it or have a take on it?
Just what I've read about it. It is a teeny tiny little 45 ACP semi-auto, teeny tiny little thing from an interesting company. I've not shot it. It's small. It's thin. Just to give you an idea about what this company does, one of their other pistols is called the PAR 1. They call it the Pocket AR, and it is a small-ish pistol, semi-auto pistol, and yet it is chambered for the 7.62 by 39 AK-47 round. I don't know if I want to shoot at that, but it's fascinating. I mean, it's a less than an inch width on this little pocket AR pistol. Fascinating stuff. So I don't know, what's your interest in the PK-45? Would you be thinking about getting one?
Conceal carry. Just conceal carry.
Yeah. I would sure suggest that you find one to get your hands on it and see how it feels. Remember, when you get really teeny tiny small, especially in a little teeny tiny 45, they're not much fun to shoot. And, you still, if it's concealed carry, yeah, they can be comfortable to carry, but you still have to shoot them and you still have to hit what you're aiming at. If you can find one in a store, get your hands on it, best bet is if you could find a range where you could rent one, even better. That way you could shoot one a little bit. But I tell you what, do me a favor. If you get one, or if you get a chance to shoot one, give me a call and give us a range report, because I've not shot one, so I can't give you a lot of info. I can just kind of guess, judging from looking at it, it's going to be a handful. That's okay. Look, I appreciate the call. If anybody else has had a chance to shoot this gun, the PKO 45 from Heiser Defense, would love to get that information from you as well. That way we can fill in the blanks, and we can help Mac out as he's trying to figure out small guns. Small guns, interesting. Always a trade-off, isn't it? I want it small, I want it light, I want it concealable, but I also want to be able to shoot it well. I want it to have enough power to do the job, which is to stop somebody who's trying to cut my head off and put it on the end of a stick. Hey, when we come back, we'll be talking a little bit more about kids shooting, youth shooting programs. There's some interesting ones out there, I guarantee you. 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 I guarantee you.